Mr. Chairman, staff is ready when you are.
Thank you, Teresa. I want to welcome my fellow commissioners and those viewing and the public to our December 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Are we in compliance with FOIA, Teresa?
Yes, sir, we are.
Thank you for that. And Teresa, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Perry,
Here.
Mr. Stevens,
Here.
Ms. McGowan,
Here.
Mr. O'Neill,
Here.
Mr. Scanlon,
Here.
Mr. Alfred,
Here.
Mr. Theodore,
Here.
Mr. Campbell,
Here.
Mr. Christian.
Present. All right, we have the agenda before us, and does staff have any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right, well, thank you. And commissioners, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And I got Stephen with his hand up just a hair before Leslie. And we have a motion and a second. If there are any alterations, suggested alterations, when Teresa calls your name for your yea or nay on approval of the agenda, please pipe up at that time. And Teresa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Perry,
Yay.
Mr. Stevens,
Approve.
Ms. McGowan,
Approve.
Mr. O'Neill,
Approve.
Mr. Scanlon,
Approve.
Mr. Alfred,
Approve.
Mr. Theodore,
Approved.
Mr. Campbell,
Approve.
Mr. Christian.
Approve. All right, next on our agenda, we have the approval of two sets of minutes, a special meeting of October 14th, 2020, and a special meeting of October 21st, 2020. I would suggest that we take both sets at once, if that is agreeable to the commissioners, and I'll entertain a motion to approve both sets.
So moved.
I got LeVarn and I've got Stephen as a second. And if you have any addition or correction to either set of minutes, when Teresa calls your name for your vote on those minutes, please pipe up at that time. Teresa, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Perry,
Approve.
Mr. Stevens,
Approve.
Ms. McGowan,
Approve.
Mr. O'Neill,
Approve.
Mr. Scanlon,
Approve.
Mr. Alfred,
Approve.
Mr. Theodore,
Approved.
Mr. Campbell,
Approve.
Mr. Christian.
Approve. All right, we have no unfinished business. We did have a period of time where we allowed for public comment, and there were no requests to give public comments by phone by the deadline. So we will move on to new business, which is a public hearing on a public property review, and it is PPR 002020-2020. It is an application for a public project review from the town of Hilton Head Island to realign and improve Summit Drive. The project includes converting the segment of Summit Drive between Gateway Circle and the Beaufort County Convenience Center into a one-way road to access the convenience center, extending Summit Drive south to connect with Gateway Circle, and creating a roundabout where Summit Drive connects with Gateway Circle. And is Ann Siron here to make a staff presentation?
Hi, Mr. Theodore. Hi, Commissioners. Good afternoon.
Thank you,
And
Ann.
Teresa is going to bring up my PowerPoint presentation. Thank you, Teresa. As Mr. Christian said, this is a public project review for the Summit Drive realignment and improvements. Today we'll, next slide. First, we'll discuss public project review applications generally. We'll take a look at the location of the project, some background information, the existing site conditions, the proposed improvements, and finally, how the project is consistent with the comprehensive plan's goals and implementation strategies. Next slide. To start with, we'll review public project applications, public project review applications, excuse me. The Planning Commission's role is to determine whether the proposed development is consistent with or conflicts with the comprehensive plan in terms of the project's location, character, and extent. Next slide. As a reminder, PPRs are a one-step review. The Planning Commission makes the final decision to approve or deny the application. Now let's take a look at the location of the project. Summit Drive is located near the airport. You can see Dillon Road is the nearest minor arterial road. Just as a note, the orange lines on this map are property lines and rights-of-way, but they don't necessarily reflect the location of the roadway. The proposed improvements will be where Gateway Circle meets Summit Drive. Gateway Circle ends at the airport parking lots, and you can see where it connects with the Summit the Summit Drive roadway, right near where the A in Gateway Circle is located on the map. And where that bend is in the road, you can see that's the entrance to the County Convenience Center, which is labeled on the map. Summit Drive continues past the Convenience Center and on to the town's fire rescue headquarters, and there's some airplane hangars further down the road. Let's take a look at the background of the project. In September 2020, Beaufort County announced a number of changes to how the county convenience centers will operate. One change is that a decal proving county residents will be required to enter the convenience centers. The problem is that the driveway to enter the island's convenience center is only about 50 feet long. So vehicles waiting to enter the convenience center during busy times already back up onto Summit Drive, which obviously delays drivers whose destinations are further down the road. The new decal requirement will likely cause longer lines and further delays. The other problem is that the convenience center doesn't have an area for vehicles without decals to turn around without entering the convenience center. They would have to do a 3-point turn in the middle of Summit Drive, which would be less than desirable. So the town is working with Beaufort County to realign and improve Summit Drive to resolve these issues. They're currently negotiating right-of-way acquisition and construction responsibilities. If the project is approved, staff anticipates work will begin in January and be complete in March. Beaufort County will begin checking for decals at the convenience center after the proposed improvements are complete. So hopefully we'll get this taken care of. And we'll take a closer look now at the existing conditions on Summit Drive. Here you can see where Gateway Circle intersects with Summit Drive and how the traffic moves through the area. You can see that Gateway Circle ends at the entrance to the airport parking lot. You can see the short driveway entering the convenience center. The exit, again, from the convenience center is further north on Summit Drive. If you've ever driven through, you know you have to take a left onto Summit Drive to come back through. Okay, and we'll take a look at the proposed improvements. What the project proposes to do is convert that kind of bended area of Summit Drive into a one-way driveway to access the convenience center. The decal check location is noted there right at the entrance to the convenience center. And so hopefully for most times, the one-way drive should be long enough to have vehicles stacking without blocking access to Gateway Circle into the roundabout. So that one-way drive will kind of also be a waiting area. Vehicles without decals, you can see, will drive further up that one-way drive and either turn left or right onto Summit Drive to exit the one-way drive. The existing Summit Drive roadway will then be extended down to connect with Gateway Circle at a new roundabout. The roundabout, you can see, has 2 additional exits to provide access to the airport's parking lots. The roundabout and the median in Summit Drive, and that median is in solid green, will be located in an area to preserve existing trees as much as possible. Now we'll take a look at how the comprehensive plan supports the proposed project. The location of the project is addressed in Infrastructure Strategy 1.4, which is to maintain all public roads on the island to ensure safety and improve access for all users. So the proposed project will relocate a portion of the Summit Drive roadway to improve traffic flow and access, which is in compliance with that Infrastructure Strategy 1.4. So in this area, the comp plan supports the proposed location of the project. The character of the project is addressed in two areas of the comprehensive plan. The first is Excellence Tactic 1.6.1, which is to develop town projects in a manner that preserves and enhances island character. And since this project will preserve trees in the roundabout and in that median, that will be in compliance with this tactic. The second area is in Regional Goal 1, which is to enable excellence in regional planning and coordination. This project will be a collaboration between the town and Beaufort County, which is in compliance with this goal. So in those two areas, the comprehensive plan supports the character of the project. The extent of the project is addressed in Infrastructure Strategy 1.4, which again is to maintain all public roads on the island to ensure safety and improve access for all users. The new roundabout connecting Gateway Circle to Summit Drive will improve traffic safety and access, which is in compliance with the strategy. So the comprehensive plan supports the extent of the project. In conclusion, the comprehensive plan supports the location, character, and extent of the project. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve this application. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and Jeff Bucklew, who's the town engineer and project manager, is also available to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ann. I'm going to open this for a public hearing, but there are no public comments on this time. We did have some written comments, as Teresa alluded to previously. So I'm going to open and I'm going to close the public hearing in the same sentence. So the public hearing is now closed, and I'm going to ask Ann to call the roll. And if you have a question, or Teresa to call the roll, and if you have a question of Jeff or of Ann on the project, please pipe up at that time, and we'll do 2 rounds of this if necessary. So, Teresa, would you go through the discussion order, please?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McGowan?
Yes, hi. I don't know if there's a question for Ann or Jeff, but what is the width of the one-way driveway? I'm assuming you're making it wide enough to allow a bailout for the cars with no decals?
Jeff?
Hi. Yeah, I can answer that. Fire rescue requires a width of 14 foot for emergency access vehicles. What we're planning to do, because it's a 2-lane road now, we are planning to have the approach, keep the 2 lanes so we can stack more cars and queue more cars and not back them up out into Summit Drive. And then we'll narrow the pavement out if you are declined, if you don't have a decal and they send you back on your way to Summit. So we'll keep the current pavement width. It's 20 feet wide now, and we'll allow 2 lanes to merge at the decal checkpoint just to make more queuing available.
Okay. That's all I have at this point.
Mr. Theodore?
Jeff, just what you said, do you have to do the double lane? I mean, there's quite a bit of distance there.
No, I think the difference is with a single lane, you could queue 14 vehicles before you back up into Summit Drive, or Gateway, that is. With the 2 lanes and the existing pavement's already there, you could get 20 vehicles.
Yeah, okay. It just seems like it could be a challenge at the point of bottlenecking where it goes in.
Yeah, we'll have pavement markings and signage and rely on folks to be courteous and allow merging. But yeah, we want to prevent back up into the through lane there because fire rescue headquarters, Arbor Nature, there's some other businesses there that we don't want to have traffic back them up onto Dillon Road even.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Scanlon?
One quick question. Where are the decals supposed to be displayed? On the front windshield bumper or back bumper? Where are you asking people to put them?
The front windshield, this is a county program. If you apply online or send a letter, they'll send you the decal with instructions. But yeah, it's supposed to be on the front windshield, and I have advised the county numerous times that this person working the checkpoint needs to be expedient and keep the line moving. So they've assured me that they will.
Well, just that there are an awful lot. We have an awful lot of stickers here, and pretty soon I won't be able to see through my windshield. But I would just suggest that the sticker be somewhere where a guy standing on the side of the road there can go, yes, no, yes, keep moving, that kind of thing, as opposed to we have to go look for it somewhere. Thank you.
Yes. And Jeff, 2 comments. I'm going to go out of turn. Don't they have something that you can put on your phone as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's going to be an app where you could show it on your phone if you have multiple vehicles for your family, and you may use different vehicles to take your trash to the convenience center. So yeah, I've already received my sticker. It's a big barcode. So the check point, they will scan it. You will be allowed 2 visits per week. So they're going to scan that and see where your residence is and log you in for 1 visit. You'll get 2 per week. But yes, my understanding is you can get an app on your phone as well.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Go ahead and proceed, Teresa. Michael, you have any other questions?
No, I guess that'll do it. Thank you.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yeah, maybe not in the purview of this group, but what's the cost of this project?
Right now, roughly $500,000.
Thank you. No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Perry?
Pretty much everything's been answered that I was going to ask, but I will pose the question as to, what specimen trees we might be losing within the, the new area from Summit to Capitol.
There are no specimen trees being taken out. Right now, we're moving ahead with the design. We've laid out the pavement footprints, et cetera. 11 trees are coming out greater than 12-inch diameter breast height. And those trees range from 13-inch diameter to 17-inch diameter. So those are the ones being removed. And we chose the roundabout because there's a cluster of 3 really nice live oaks that are perfectly centered in this new roundabout. Those are 18-inch, 16-inch, and 24-inch.
Okay.
And where Ann showed the green bifurcated roadway, there's another half dozen or so nice live oaks we're going to save in that split roadway section.
Awesome.
Mr. Alfred?
2 questions. Is the county sharing in the cost of this project at all?
Yes, sir, they sure are. And the construction is going to be done county. When they came to us proposing this project, they had offered to use in-house forces, their public works crews, up to the limits of their capabilities. So tree removal, grading, compacting the earth, spreading the rock base for the roadway, the county has offered to do. There are also 2 county parcels involved where we want to lay the road. And so we are requesting a land transfer, whether they give the town the parcels or dedicate them as right-of-way, either way. So via their work efforts and materials, stone for the road base, et cetera, and the land transfer, that will be their contribution.
Thank you, Jeff. Is the estimated stacking of 2 vehicles wide on the road sufficient to satisfy Lance Pyle's question that it won't back up onto Gateway Circle?
Well, that's like I say, I think the key to that is whoever's working this checkpoint to keep things moving. To not allow a lot of lengthy discussions or debates. Either you have a decal and you have one of your trips, 2 trips available, and you can go in, or you can't. And if you can't, you need to keep it moving. So 20 vehicles is what we've got if we use this double lane approach. And like I said, I've really stressed to the county, this person has to be on his toes to keep things moving.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Mr. Stevens?
I think most of my questions have been answered too. I'm a little concerned about the process at the convenience center. Now, Jeff, there's no cost to Beaufort County residents, is that correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And there's 2 trips allowed per week.
Yes, sir.
And they will know that from scanning this whatever, I mean, or just,
Yes, sir. That's my understanding. The sticker is just a large barcode that says Beaufort County above it in a title block.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I know you were trying to alleviate that traffic congestion there. I'm a little concerned about that process. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. So if you are a visitor here, you're not allowed to use this convenience center.
Yes, sir. That's my understanding. I think the high volumes they're seeing at some of these convenience centers, there may be contractors, there may be visitors, there may be renters, et cetera, and they're trying to curtail that use to property owners only. And I think that will, drive down the volume, the cost, the traffic, et cetera.
Okay. I guess we'll see how it all works out, but I think that in the interest of, environmental concerns and going green, it kind of limits, some folks' access to that convenience center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Campbell?
No, all my questions been answered, but I do have one. I didn't know it was several cars per household. I thought it was only 1 car per household.
Well, those send you one sticker. But what I was alluding to, if say you have 2 or 3 vehicles and you may, have someone else take a different vehicle, you can get an app for your phone.
Okay.
So if the sticker's on your pickup truck, let's say, but your wife goes to the convenience center one week in the station wagon, she can get the app on her phone to show them that she has one visit or however many visits available. So.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, a couple of comments. Folks were concerned about the backup at the checkpoint, and I'm a regular user of that on Saturdays, and it backs up anyway on a Saturday, with people trying to offload and also use the recycling center. So it does happen, and Commissioner Campbell, that app on that phone will be good for multiple cars. And I just received an email from Glenn Sanford, one of our council members, who indicated that he has spoken with a county council member and that 2 visits per week may be expanded. It may not be just be limited to 2 visits per week. And Jeff, this is not germane to our discussion here today, but I know that there was a request to DHEC from Arbor Nature to do commercial drop-off. I don't know what the status of that is at the moment, whether it's still being debated or it's been denied or approved. But I believe it's the county's intention to stop totally any commercial drop-off at the convenience center. And that is going to create an issue for the island. Because even though it says no contractors, I think anyone who's ever used that convenience center knows darn well that there are contractors in there, and there are contractors offloading commercial debris at that location on a regular basis. And when that is shut off by these more stringent requirements, their only alternative is to travel all the way to the landfill in Ridgeland. And if you think that's going to happen, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I need to sell you, which means that they're going to look for another spot to dispose of that debris. And it may create a problem on the island where for illegal dumping. So, we need to be aware of that. And, the ultimate solution is some type of transfer station that is close by that is going to allow commercial as well as residential to offload that waste, have it sorted, and then move to its next location at a spot that's much closer than going all the way to Ridgeland. So, even though we're solving one issue here, I think we have another issue that's going to create, and we need to be aware that that's going to even though it may not be our problem, it's going to be our problem. And all the questions I had were answered. And unless one of the commissioners has a need for another comment,
I do.
Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. So, Jeff, you know, you can only think that with everybody coming into that area and, you know, being slowed down by a checkpoint, that once they get in there, that it may get within the confines of the convenience center, become a little bit more crowded. Are they thinking about redesigning it at all? You know, without the recycling stations on either side so that cars can get through easier that are going to the major dump side?
No, sir, no changes internal to the convenience center.
Okay. Maybe something they want to think about, because I could see that becoming a real congestion point, as it already is, to help traffic flow through there, because you got everybody trying to jockey for position for paper, plastic, and glass. You know, that seems to be multiple trips back and forth to the car. I don't know, maybe a suggestion to the county.
Okay, I can look at that with the county.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Michael. Well, let's do this. It looks like there is a need for a second round. Teresa, why don't you go through the roll?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McGowan,
I don't have any questions at this time.
Mr. Theodore,
No other questions.
Mr. Scanlon,
A couple of things. First of all, what is the cost of the permit and the process for getting the permit?
Nothing.
What, the sticker, the decal?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's free. I mean, it's. I've already been sent one. You apply if you own property on Hilton Head Island. You can apply for it, and I haven't gotten the app downloaded yet. But folks can go to the county website. I think it's Beaufort County and maybe SWR, Solid Waste Recycling, and maybe the last three letters on it. But yeah, go to the Beaufort County website and check it out. And it's free to residents, and you just need to apply for it. And once they verify your ownership of property, they'll send you the decal.
All right. My second item is a suggestion. If you're going to be rejecting people at the decal cross point there, you better have a map to Ridgeland or wherever you're going to send them. I'm serious. You're going to have a lot of ticked off people there, and it'd be much nicer if you could say, here's where you can take that.
That's a good comment. I'll pass that on to the county as well. You know, their PR department and advising folks. You know, if you can't drop here, what are the alternatives? But yes, sir. I'll pass that on.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yeah, I guess Levon and Todd and others have really made me think here about the environmental impact and what we're doing in terms of unintended consequences. You know, that Saturday morning crowd could be largely renters that are on their way out of town, getting rid of their trash. And so I just think we ought to account for that in our thinking as we go forward and maybe watch it carefully, because we might just be creating an environmental problem that's larger than the problem we have now with distribution and access to that facility. Just a consciousness thing, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perry,
No other comments?
Mr. Alfred,
No further comments.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes, Jeff, I think you can see where our concerns are about the environmental impacts. My question is this consistent throughout the county at all the other convenience centers as well?
Yes, sir. It's a countywide program. And we've talked, you know, they're rolling it out January 1st, 2021. They wanted to go countywide, but when they saw the road network problems that may inhibit, you know, success here at the Hilton Head Center, they came to us this fall and said, let's look at reworking the road. So we've asked for a delayed start at Hilton Head, and we've targeted a March rollout on Hilton Head just because the road improvements are not done yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have some concerns as well as some of the other scenarios that may be created with our tourists who are visitors here, folks who are in rental properties, maybe even long-term, longer than a week, if they're responsible for their own removing their own debris or trash, and they're not residents. Those are potential issues that might delay the line for folks. As the chairman's already pointed out, there may be someone there at the checkpoint. You may need some counselors and some security as well. So it's just some other issues we may be creating. Just my observation. You said you would look into that, so we'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir. And I think to the comments here, I think a sign in the advance of the checkpoint, maybe as you're queuing and sitting there waiting, identifying options. You know, if you are not allowed access, then your options are A, B, and C, perhaps, to avoid a discussion with the county staff at the checkpoint. So,
Yeah,
I will talk to them about that.
yeah, but I think we all know human nature. Even the signs are up there. They're going to drive right up to that checkpoint and be told no.
Yes.
That's it for me.
Mr. Campbell?
No further comments at this point.
Yeah, Teresa, I think, folks have noted my comments, and I did apply, as Jeff did, for a decal, and you can do it online. You just need your tax bill, the number off your tax bill, to verify, who you are. And I think I have the app somewhere on my phone. I haven't used it yet, obviously. And Jeff, the county closed 2 of its convenience centers, didn't in the Bluffton area?
Yes, I believe so. I'm not aware of how many centers or the, capabilities, but yes, there was, talk on funding of this one at one point, and the county decided not to abandon this one and continue funding its operations. So.
And this in my mind, in my experience, is a conscious effort by the county, obviously, to push folks to a residential pickup and to encourage municipalities to even engage. And I know some of the other municipalities are now offering residential trash service. So, they're not doing this in the blind. There is a method behind their madness, and it's going to be a little painful until it all gets sorted out. My main concern, again, as others have indicated, are the unintended consequences, the renters who may have used that convenience center, and the commercial vendors who will be turned away. I think the actual people in the convenience center will be far fewer in the short term because so many people are being turned away. But it may be tough to get in because I think there's going to be some arguments at the front of the line when some folks are turned away. So it's going to take some time to sort that all out.
Yes.
If I might add, Peter, Jeff, it may be worthwhile to just make sure the county thinks logistically, because I was just thinking if somebody gets turned away and they're in the right-hand lane and they have to crisscross the left lane, for the county to think through that whole process so that you're not all of a sudden creating a huge nightmare because traffic has to stop to allow somebody to exit out or that kind of thing.
Yeah, there'll be a merge, so it'll funnel to one vehicle at the checkpoint, and if they're denied, they'll continue on.
It's really just a right-hand lane having to crisscross the left lane to get out while everybody's queued up. So, just a detail.
Okay. Well, we've had a lot of comments that were, really off the topic of the scope of this particular project, but the task before us is to approve the changes to this public project to make it easier to access the convenience center. And this is something that the Planning Commission can approve. This is not a recommendation to the town council. We have the final word. So, obviously we spent a lot of time on this and want to review it carefully. So at this juncture, I'll ask for a motion from the commission.
Can I ask one question real quick, which I think is really pertinent?
Sure.
Can a Bluffton resident utilize our dump?
If they have a decal, yeah.
So if they have a decal, then they can, so it's not just Hilton Head residents, it is any county resident that has a sticker.
Yep.
Okay.
And that works for us too. If we wanted to go someplace in Bluffton, we could do that
Right.
too. All right, Stephen, did I see your hand up for a motion?
You did.
All right. You moved to approve the project as submitted?
Yes.
Is there a second? Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, Teresa, would you please call the roll for your yay or nay?
Mr. Perry,
Approve.
Mr. Stevens,
Approve.
Ms. McGowan,
Approve.
Mr. O'Neill,
Approve.
Mr. Scanlon,
Approved.
Mr. Alfred,
Approve.
Mr. Theodore,
Approved.
Mr. Campbell,
Approve.
Mr. Christian.
Approve. Okay, thank you for that thoughtful discussion, and there were a lot of very, very good comments. And Jeff, hopefully you have a lot to bring back to the county for suggestions. And we appreciate all your work on this, Jeff. And it's going to be an interesting project and an interesting transition.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. I have no further commission business or other comments from the chair other than to thank everyone for their hard work this year. Welcome again our two new commissioners, Stephen and John. And, you know, also to say that this has indeed been an interesting year with the pandemic. You know, hopefully with the vaccine now available, we may get back to meeting in person sometime next year. And I just want to thank you all for your patience, your hard work. And I also want to thank staff because they've been operating under, you know, very, very modified conditions, you know, putting out the work and, you know, moving the wheels of the town forward and supplying us with all the materials that we need to get our job done. And can't say enough positive things about Teresa, Ann, and the rest of the support we get from the planning department over at the town. So that is my report. Committee reports. Todd, anything on CIP?
Nothing right now.
Michael, anything on comp plan that we just approved?
I think you should by now have received your copy of the comp plan. Hope you have. And I think that some of that settles it for our committee for the year. Thank you.
Well done. LaVarn, Gullah-Geechee Task Force?
I have nothing at this time, but you kind of covered it with the questions that I have about the meeting schedule going forward. And I would also like to echo your comments and commend the staff. But at the same time, I do have some questions about some of the meetings that were scheduled and probably needed to be canceled, or just so we kind of know where we are with them. And hopefully things will clear up and we'll have a clearer understanding about meeting and when we're not meeting and how we're meeting.
Thank you for that, LaVarn. LMO, Leslie, I know you met earlier this week.
That's right. We met on Monday to review changes to the LMO, which are growing out of the updated firm maps. A recommendation to consider that for the Planning Commission to consider changes has been forwarded to the Planning Commission. So I presume that will happen sometime in January. We also adopted a schedule for 2021, but you know, that's probably in flux depending on if they're virtual meetings or not.
Understood. Alan, anything on rules?
No.
Well, thank you. All right, Ann, anything on a staff report?
Just a couple of notes. We have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, January 6th. At this point, we don't have anything on any applications for that meeting, so there may be a request to cancel that. But we do have 2 rezoning applications for the January 20th meeting, and I believe that is when the firm map updates that were discussed at the LMO committee will be brought to the Planning Commission. So we look forward to seeing you then, and until you hear otherwise, please assume that all of our meetings will be virtual. Thank you very much.
And Ann, will that early January meeting be a morning meeting or an afternoon meeting?
The meeting on the 6th is supposed to be at 9 a.m. and the meeting
Okay.
on the 20th is at 3 p.m.
Thank you for that. Okay, any other questions or comments from the commissioners for staff or for the good of the order?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Michael?
I think in a way, I was in favor of the proposal for the roundabout and all. But I've been hesitant to say it, but I think we all need to think about it. I think I see a lot of renters on Saturday mornings looking for dumpsters all over the city, all over the town, to throw their garbage in before they go home. And I've seen it at various different shopping areas. And I think we got to be real careful, because I think people are going to pull out of that center, not being rejected from getting in there. And we're going to find garbage bags between here and the bridge all over the place. So we have our head in the sand. I think we need to find a place for renters to put their stuff. We'd rather have it in one place than all over the place, if you know what I mean.
Understood. That's, exactly the comments that we discussed as we went through that process. So it's going to be something that will rear its ugly head, and we will have to deal with it.
I would add that years ago, the county was more diligent about construction debris being thrown away, that you were diverted over to Jasper County, to the disposal site. And I haven't seen that type of oversight probably in a long time, several years.
Yeah, and not to beat a dead horse. I mean, just from an economic sense, if a trash truck has to do a pickup and then go all the way to Ridgeland to offload, the time it takes to do that just makes it far more expensive to offer the service. So having a center that can handle that closer, a transfer center that handles commercial waste closer to the island. And nobody wants it in their backyard, obviously, but it's something that we really have to bite the bullet and take a hard look at.
Well, I'll say that we got to be careful, because you look at what happened with Able Contracting and the mess that was created out in Okatee, and DHEC had to come in and spend $5 million to clean it up. So that's where it becomes an issue.
Yep. Yeah. Well, unregulated or someone taking
Yes.
advantage of the situation.
And maybe, Peter, to your point, I don't know where things stand with the Arbor Nature, but it seems like, that back area was meant for kind of light industrial, that might be a suiting place to accommodate something like that.
I know, but there's a lot of folks who are opposed to that particular location, Todd.
I understand, but to the discussions is, people will find quiet roads to dispose of that.
I manage a community of 10,000, and they find places all over my community to get rid of stuff where they shouldn't. Yeah. And it's it's just going to exacerbate the problem.
Exactly.
I want to wish everyone a belated Happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas. I'm not a happy holiday guy. A happy Kwanzaa, whatever floats your boat. And I will entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Alan and Todd and everybody, have a wonderful holiday season and a great new year, and stay safe. Take care, everybody.
All right. See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.